The Imaginative Mind of Baz Luhrmann, a look into the famed director's career. Lerman has set out to direct a brand new film about the legendary rock star Elvis. Here is a look back into the renowned director's career and his start into glamour. The Rise of Baz Luhrmann, The Red Curtain. Over the years, Baz Luhrmann has proven himself to be a producer, director, and writer extraordinaire. His creativity is dazzling, as his works have stunned audiences through his imaginative storytelling. The Australian filmmaker grew up in New South Wales, where he developed interest in theatre, dance, and even opera. When Lerman moved to Sydney, he went to school at Sydney's National Institute of Dramatic Art. During his time at school, he worked with the Australian Opera Company at the Sydney Opera House. He took part in various theatrical productions and began creating his own works. A lot of his initial projects were inspired by his involvement with the Australian opera, leading him to write and direct a play in 1986 called Strictly Ballroom. 6 years later, he made a romantic mockumentary film called Strictly Ballroom that was based on his initial play.
I brought this just in case.
The movie was Lerman's first hit, as the film won several awards later on. Following later in 1996, he took part in creating the modern reimagination of Shakespeare's play Romeo and Juliet, which stars Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes.
The valiant Paris seeks you for his love.
A man, young lady.
After the success of the renowned romance film, Lerman released the musical, based in Paris, Moulin Rouge, in 2001, starring Nicole Kidman and Ian McGregor.
That's terrible.
No, being on the street, that's terrible.
No, love is like oxygen.
What?
Love is a many.
The three films were great moments within Lerman's career, as he named this iconic trilogy of movies The Red Curtain. The three stories are not connected through their plots, but through their style and direction. You can tell that Lerman was greatly influenced by his work in theater, as the films have a heightened visual experience that are visibly reminiscent of his works on stage. Such unique filmmaking styles have put Lerman on the map, as his works as a filmmaker are constantly evolving. We are able to see his vision develop in recent works such as his adaptation of F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby in 2013, which stars Leonardo DiCaprio once again.
I'm Gatsby.
Later on, he released a Netflix series in 2017 called The Get Down, which was a musical drama that ran for one season. In his involvement with musicals, his passion for music is no surprise. He is known for his blend of modern and traditional sounds in his soundtracks. An example is The Great Gatsby, in which he assisted in producing the soundtrack, where he incorporated pop artists such as Lana Del Rey, Fergie, and Sia on 1920s type beats. The film's soundtrack was Grammy nominated, which became Lerman's second Grammy nomination alongside Moulin Rouge. By being both producer and writer on most of his musical tracks, Lerman also has an album called Something for Everybody, which consists of songs from his films and his famous hit single, Everybody's Free to Wear Sunscreen.
Enjoy the power and beauty of your youth. Oh, never mind. You will not understand.
Baz Luhrmann, an auteur, more than movies. If one was to describe Baz Luhrmann's works, it would be chaotic goodness. One thing that Lerman is greatly known for is his unique visual and theatrical direction that is both vivacious and exuberant. Although the auteur is sometimes critiqued for his so-called gaudiness, he is consistently pushing the boundaries of creativity within the cinematic viewing experience. He has constantly explored themes of romance and fantasy, which is seen in his Red Curtain trilogy. In his stories, but what is different between him and other films is that there is always something new within his works. From the creative musical numbers in Moulin Rouge to the extravagant party scenes in The Great Gatsby, his filmmaking perspective is ambitiously daring. He is not afraid to go beyond the limits of what filmmaking can do. Lerman understands the need to heighten drama, even if he is highly critiqued for it. In an interview for the New York Times, he states that he would love to do a rom-com or a jeans and t-shirt film, but it is simply not what he is drawn to. He goes on to say, "I'm addicted to doing not that which I really want to do, but that which I feel must be done." In addition to filmmaking, Lerman is involved in the fashion and art world. His extravagance translates from movies to fashion as he directed commercials and promotions for the brand Chanel.
There's just the art. There's no, we start at 9, we finish at 5. It is part of our life, and everything.
He has also worked closely with Anna Wintour, the editor-in-chief of Vogue, while he worked with the Metropolitan Music of Art's Anna Wintour Costume Center, executing chaired galas for the organization. Lerman's artistry has no boundaries, as he is consistently evolving with his work. His style of campiness may not be for everyone, but his signature filmmaking will always draw you in. The storytelling of Baz Luhrmann. Each of Lerman's films have a cinematic language that has their own distinct style. His visual storytelling draws in an audience that lures them into his world. His writing style and stories are simple, yet Lerman incorporates a sense of complexity through the audience's visual experience. An example is yet again The Great Gatsby. Although it had some mixed reviews, Lerman's adaptation understands the extravagance and also the emotional vulnerability of Gatsby's character, which is also thanks to DiCaprio's great acting. The essence of the story was a character's realization from becoming a beloved icon to becoming human. Lerman was able to uphold such aspects as he consistently blended both reality and fantasy in the film. As The Great Gatsby is one of his toned-down films in comparison to the Red Curtain trilogy, it remains a decorated piece of cinema. In most of his works, he aims for the truth through grandiosity. The glitz and the glamour are oftentimes utilized to display the illusion of what life could be like. Lerman makes films that allow audiences to enjoy this world of theatrical escapism through his alluring storytelling. What's next for Baz Luhrmann? Lerman is constantly working on projects, whether it is movies, music, or fashion. As of recently, Baz Luhrmann tackled and directed the newly released biopic that looks into the life of the rock and roll star Elvis. Elvis is playing in theaters everywhere, so head to your local theater and check it out.